welcome all. Welcome to all the speakers, Rajiv, Ashish, Rajat, and Arjun. Uh, the session topic is whether metaverse is an opportunity or a challenge for content creators. Before we start the session, actually, India has been always a meta seeker, right? More of the meta values is what we have been from time immemorial. India has been always having meta needs more than any other needs, right? So now the world is going into the metaverse, and everybody is talking about metaverse. But so we want to explore how it is as an opportunity first, and then we also look at the challenges in the space. To start with, we'll go with Ashish. Ashish, you like to do things differently and also do different things. And it's also that you have made a lot of NFTs already for Poly Heroes to Vistaverse to Tatva, very beautiful NFTs, which made a lot of news. So how do you look at it as an opportunity?
Yeah, hey, hi, thanks. And thanks for inviting me on that. And I always tell my people also, because it's a new thing. So every day we are actually learning something, okay, and experimenting out in our case as and all. Okay, so I call this metaverse as a real state, okay, real state of the new real estate. Okay, so in this new real estate, you have land, people are selling land, people are buying land. So on this land, you have to actually need architects, you need designers, you need hardware guys, you need like a cement, you need accessories. Okay, so it's almost like creating another world on a different platform. Okay, so I see like our community, like obviously the creative communities who can actually think differently. Okay, and people have now exposed to whatever happened in the VFX industry and animation. Okay, people are expecting a lot more from this on the metaverse side. So I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you, Ashish. Next, we'll go to Rajat. Rajat, you have been conducting parties and you're actually living the meta dream already with your party night IO, and also you've been into the gaming for almost more than a couple of decades. And for you, how different is it? How different is moving from gaming to metaverse? Is it any different, or is it only the chain which is changing it, changing the game, or do you think there is something more than more to it?
No, absolutely, it's very different. It's absolutely other than the tech, the technology, what we're using, and the few of the learnings what we got from the traditional animation, VFX, motion capture, and other things. Everything else is different. And how is it different? In game, usually we design the rules. A lot of rules, and we give some sort of feeling to the player that they are independent and they are taking those decisions, while as a designer controlling their every move there. But here in Metaverse, absolutely, I'm recreating the earth. I'm literally giving you an apple. You eat that apple or you don't eat the apple. It's up to you. You are making all those Adam kind of decisions all over again. You're deciding the economy here. And in fact, just to add to what Ashish mentioned, the biggest point here is the reimagining the economy and handing it over to the users, not controlling it. Instead, just handing it over to the users, and they decide on the economy side of that. And that's where it's completely different, because in the game, we used to design all the economy and we used to control how my virtual good will be priced at, how will people will buy, keep on knocking on their door to buy that all over, over and over again. That thing completely got changed. It's a ruleless, it's at this moment, you can call it Westworld. It's absolutely, lawless city. Rules will be built, laws will be brought in by people, by the citizens and the population of these metaverses, and we're looking forward to that new world. So yeah, it's different, it's interesting, and it's like giving absolute power to the users now.
So
Absolute power.
anything you want to speak about your party night a bit? More about the
Sure.
party night?
Absolutely. Yeah, sure. So yeah, we launched Party Night on Republic Day of India with Dalir Mehendi's concert. Concert was basically because we understand that, selling, property, buying property is usually, we need to make people aware of the platform first, what is in for them. And we are building this on Cosmos blockchain with our own wallet and coin. The entire purpose of the concert was to pull people, make them aware that this is the place where a lot of things will happen, a lot of interesting things will happen. So some over, buy some land, buy some stores, make your presence felt, and at the same time. Now, in fact, one interesting thing is that people are coming with different options. Like as I'm talking about the handing over the economy to the user, at the same time people are coming with various options of how they want to use my platform. And it is absolutely stunning because some of the things we did not even plan or envisage for brands and other people are actually already, and there we already onboarded a lot of brands. There are like more than 70 brands talking to us at this moment. And so this was a big, huge success. We got close to 560,000 users inside our Dalir Mehendi's concert, and at the same time, a lot of people watched it from various different channels like Twitch, YouTube, wherever we were streaming that. And idea is to have one event every month, at least one event, every month, and you'll see a lot of celebrities, coming and joining our platform, and at the same time a lot of brands coming in offering different kind of solutions there and recreating a world which again, it's like Elon Musk planning to go to Mars. We decided to go to Party Night and do it in our own way. So we have a decent population now, in a way, decent community. We call it population because it's a city. And at the same time, we are conducting a singles night event on 28th because Valentine is boring. There are more heartbroken people than people who are in love. So we want to conduct, an event for them. And so there are a couple of celebrities who will be, doing impromptu sessions with people. So there is one thing which is very important in any metaverse is the communication, the social interaction. So people will be talking to celebrities directly, and celebrities will be probably, and at the same time, Holy event is the one very big event which we are doing, where not just concerts and other things will happen. People can actually play Holy with their, celebrities, their favorite celebrities. So this is
Maybe
what it
we
is.
should have the after party for VAM Summit in your party night.
Please do it. Please do it. In
Probably.
fact,
So you
there
should,
is
we should
government
invite
interest also in that. Sure,
Sure.
sure.
From here, we'll go to one more technologist, and Arjun has built a lot of unicorns in the technology space, and now he's into the metaverse and building platforms for NFTs. They have launched their Big B, which created a lot of news, and also the Marvel Chakra NFTs, which is also a very well known NFT in the people who are in the NFT space, I would say. So Arjun, maybe you would like to speak a little about the opportunity, why you came into this, and how do you see it as an opportunity, and also give some knowledge to, because most of us are from content creation, but not really into the NFT or blockchain space, but you're purely from that space, and maybe you can help us understand a little more on this subject.
Hey, VK Gupta, thank you so much. And hi, everybody. And I was just now telling him offline on chat that I feel like an imposter being in a room full of amazing creators. And, I'm just a tech geek who stumbled upon a couple of good things. And I'm really happy that I'm here, feel privileged. And there's so many movers and shakers here that are going to probably shape at the skyline of the global entertainment industry. And so we were a R&D company, technology R&D company, and we just hit upon the right mark that, when we were providing R&D solutions to our clients, we thought this is a really good time to do this ourselves. And we saw the opening and we took it, and we're doing decently. The goal here is to make NFTs mainstream. And we want to first attack the space that is the Indian NFT ecosystem. And so we wanted to first bring somebody who would scream credibility. And that's why we went after Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. And I'm so happy that he came on board with this small startup, and he gave us the chance, and we were able to take his NFTs to his fan base, and also the growingly NFT aware community from India who wanted to get into the whole NFT universe. But there were a bunch of hurdles, and they were waiting for the right conditions. And we identified that the crypto part was still a touchy subject for a lot of reasons. So we wanted to break that down, and we brought in credit and debit card payments and UPI. So people can buy NFTs with UPI. And then once that happened, it just opened the floodgates, and we had a good sellout, a good fire sale. And then we had the privilege of working with Orange Comet and Pau Entertainment, and we were able to launch Chakraverse. So a Chakra was supposed to be a Indian superhero that Stanley always wanted to bring to the big screen. And so the process is happening, and we were very happy to bring those NFTs. So doing all of this is actually leading up to a place where our strength is technology, and we want to bring a gaming ecosystem. Actually, it's an NFT ecosystem with gaming built in, and we'd like any game studio or people who are aspiring to become a game studio sign up and work with us to launch really NFT and metaverse ready games, and that's where we're heading towards.
Yeah, that's very nice. So can you give a little more about your GuardianLink, actually, the no-code platform which you're developing, maybe, and how studios or content creators can be enabled with NFT launching, or the connection with all, because the whole NFT market is about number of marketplaces, number of wallets, and a lot of technical unnecessary overheads, right? For content creators, content is the key, and for them, I think this was actually a good solution, but maybe you can help my other industry colleagues understand a little bit of GuardianLink and how they can get closer to the NFT market.
Sure thing. We at GuardianLink believe that technology shouldn't be a hassle at all. And if you're a brand or an artist or a creator and you want to get your NFTs or your metaverse out there, you should just be able to do that. And we've brought on a lot of hurdles of starting from technology to payments. And we've just made it seamless. And that's where we're heading towards. And so I'm so sorry. What was the second part of your question? VK Gupta, I'm trying to get back to that.
How do one of our maybe a studio or a content creator, how do they get into the NFT space, and what kind of things they can actually get in, what kind of content they can get into NFT?
Right. So we get collaborative with them from the conceptualization of the NFTs itself, because we have our finger on the pulse of a large volume of NFT holders and collectors, and we would work with them. And so we are working with a bunch of brands and artists and celebrities now. And so we, I really wish this happened a month later. I would have so much to talk about. So it's all in the pipeline, and we're just working towards that. And so if you are a gaming studio that have launched a game and you'd like to see how you can leverage NFTs and metaverse and tap into that economy and see how you can directly go to your gamers rather than go through publishers, or I mean, it's not to say that Annapurna or somebody is not doing a great job of bringing the really talented indie developers onto the big screen, but we want to break that barrier down and really just take the indie studios and or even an established studio right to the gamers, and that's what they want. The gamers have grown to want these things. They've not been exposed to better things, and they just want that, more of that, and they know of a lot of mechanics, and we are helping. So one more thing that we're doing is creators. Not everybody love the idea that every piece of content should be available to everybody, and even the $69 million people artwork is open for everybody, and not every creator has already evolved to use that business model. And it's going to take some time for that maturity to hit. And we have created anti-rip, which will only allow the NFT holders to access the content underneath. And we were able to sell one NFT for, I think, $350,000 for Amitabh Bachchan's Madhushala. And that was possible because of the anti-rep that we built in, and the fact that the holder of that NFT claims ownership of that content and nobody else. And we want to bring that to a lot more artists who don't want to wait until the NFT ecosystem is already mature enough to allow them to participate. We want to bring that to them now.
Thank you, Arjun. Now going to Rajiv. Rajiv, you have created the Chota Beam and introduced success for content in the television space. You adapted Chota Beam, you reverse aged him and made him Mighty Little Beam, and even in OTT, you're ruling the space right now. So is Beam going to become a little grown up for the metaverse, or are you planning something else for metaverse? Is it going to be what are your thoughts on this, and how do you look at it as an opportunity? I know you've already invested in Gamitronics, so it's very obvious that you're already there in the space. But as a creator, this is more on the creator side. So how do you look at it?
Thanks. Hey VK. So first thing, you're looking handsome. So it's been a while since I've seen you. So talking about Metaverse and NFTs, I think the first time when I heard about NFTs and Metaverse, my first reaction was, what is that? And that was not too long ago. That was just a year ago or less than a year ago. So then I learned, NFTs is, everybody looked at me like, oh God, this guy doesn't know. And I didn't know, to be fair. So I learned, then I learned quickly that it's non-fungible tokens, I guess. Then I realized there's a blockchain technology and all those kinds of things happening. So there are only two smart people in the world I know. One is you and the other is Rajat. Other guys, I didn't know you before. So next time I can call you guys as well. So I called up Rajat. I said, hey, Rajat, can you tell me what is this metaverse? Some people are throwing this in this conference. Everybody's talking about metaverse, NFT, and I have no clue what it is. And then once he explained, I understood it's so simple, actually. In fact, we are in a metaverse right now on interacting in the virtual space. And then I realized, it's simple. Then I realized I'm also surrounded by games like Fortnite, where my son is playing almost 6 to 8 hours a day, playing Fortnite and epic games, basically. So I realized, oh my God, it's already there. It's already rocking the world. And so definitely that was something. And I think Rajat is my teacher in this space. And last year is when he had this idea for party night. And he talked about me and he said, let's stop doing service jobs and let's do IP. And I said, I think Rajat, I think your idea is just generally brilliant, but I hope this is not something like Tinder. That's what I asked him. Party night. That is a good idea also, actually. Even it may make some, more money, actually. But yeah, we were joking and we realized actually this is a space like how we used to see as kids, movies, Star Trek, when Captain Spock, they take out those things and talk. They're already there. The stuff of technology you saw in movies of James Bond, everything we have seen, like 60s or 70s movie that have become real, and similarly, like recently, I think there was Ready Player One, maybe 4 years ago or something. And it looks like, yes, that is realistically possible that we go and do something like this. And then So while working on all these kinds of things, we realized, I mean, example for party night, we have a Chota Beam world, one of the towns in Alien Town, which is Dragonpur in Super Beam series. So Rajat is building that inside Party Night. And of course, entire Dholakpur to this, I mean, Party Night is basically for all ages, from kids to teenagers. It's anyone can go on to it. You can host your party, you can do whatever. So yes, um, to answer your questions, yes, with Beam we have plans. We are figuring out. Like yes, we are. Green Gold is now only known for Beam, but there are many other IPs we have created in the past, and many more exciting things that are going to come out in the next 1-2 years. And we're working on those things, and we are now catering to all audiences, not just preschool or kids age group. And definitely, we understand that metaverse is going to be a part of your future uh, revenues and stuff. Like, people are now talking about, example, when we now make a Beam or something, it's not just OTT rights and television rights. It may be just a matter of time. People may be asking for metaverse rights. Wherein basically I've seen all this knowledge is from Rajat. So he talked about theaters inside the metaverse of Party News, where people who actually go and sit down and watch a movie. So that inside the world of metaverse, you're actually watching movie. Technically, it's the same thing, but it's just you have that feeling of going to a theater and watching the film. So basically, those rights. So when you look at the possibilities of interacting, inside the metaverse, inside uh, an app like Party Night and all those things, the sky's the limit. And me and Rajat again were joking, I think a year ago, 2 years ago, that India has not seen a billion-dollar company in media and gaming space yet. We have seen, probably $100 million companies and stuff like that. I'm talking the whole world. We have seen billion-dollar companies in the network side of things, like Star and these companies would be, but we haven't really seen a animation video gaming company or a VFX company yet be worth that kind of a thing. But the way it is growing, I think $1 billion is definitely possible, especially in this kind of a scenario. And so is $1 trillion company. India has never seen $1 trillion company. I think it is possible to do something as crazy as this, because once you are controlling the last mile, who's making money? Everyone who's controlling the last mile. Let's say Netflix or Disney Plus, or in our world, or all these games. Whoever is having that last mile control usually is able to monetize. And it's for creators. Monetizing is very important, especially when you have a great property. So I think, to cut the long story short, yes, we are on the right track. Metaverse is something that I think we should see a lot more coming there, and it is fairly not so difficult to build. You need to basically have the logic and concept, and there's so many technology geniuses in India. I think we should work together, like ideas between creators and technology guys, and put up a great many more IPs to come for India. And I think in this space, I think India should we have equal footing. Everybody's on equal footing. It's not like animation started in the West in 1930s or 40s and India started in 2000. It's not like that. Same thing with VFX. Everybody's got the access to technology. So I think we should go out there and create some great stuff for the metaverses. Yes, we should have fun and make money while we're having fun.
Yeah, so yesterday's session, there was one session about building the billion-dollar industry. And I think, as you said, this might be the ticket for that billion-dollar probably. And one more interesting thing is that the audience of Metaverse are late teens and early 20s mostly. And most of these people would have grown up seeing Beam, basically. I think the audience would have grown up seeing Beam. So maybe they were your past audience. So it might be also an opportunity for you to capture a lot more of and extend it that way.
I mean, what I've seen is also, 8-year-old, 9-year-old are exposed to these things. It is not just teens and stuff. Yes, absolutely, you're right. But yeah, today's kids are much smarter than we know.
True. So let's get to the next round. We'll talk about a bit of the challenges part, maybe getting into this space mainly. So any challenges do we have, or is it how easy or how tough it is for us to take this train? We'll start with Ashish again. Going
Yeah,
back to Ashish.
yeah, VK. So VK, I think every day we are facing something whenever we are discussing Web 3.0. Okay, so like people are not aware. Even the people who are in the industry, okay, they are not aware of Web 3.0. Okay, people have not invested in crypto yet, and when they comes to know about crypto and how the crash is happening and all. Okay, so now everyone is worried about like it happens only in the crypto. So how Arjun has actually cracked it, okay, by using all this fiat currency and all. Okay, so like that is lots of education required right now. Obviously, from the creator side, obviously we all are exposed to the whatever happening. It's on the NFT side and how we are using it in the P2E side and all. Okay, but the actual users are not aware of these things, and obviously how Rajiv has also said the same thing, like this new age kids are very exposed. So even the Discord, people are not aware of Discord, how Discord works. My kid has introduced me to Discord because he plays Minecraft, and he says, okay, I go and find, and he's just 11. Okay, so this new kids who are actually entering into this metaverse, which is obviously they exposed in this corona time. Okay, the education and all. So I'm very excited about the kids space. Okay, and they will actually learn it very fast. But actually teaching this the Gen Z space and all. Okay, so like now the how we call like ourselves the literate, okay, of the whatever you say, computer literate or something like that. Okay, the new generation technology, okay, we are still not figuring it out the way it should be. Okay, so that is the one of the big challenge, and obviously the investments are coming very easily. Okay, so then the craps are also here. Okay, so you won't believe like any simple guys who are actually showing some of the datas, like okay, this is the how much you can earn and all this. Okay, so then the investors are investing in it. Obviously not a big investors, but the small investors are investing in it, and so then now lots of competition is happening, and which is creating clutter in the community. So that is one of the big challenge that I'm right now actually anticipating. So yeah, so
So
what
right
guys,
now you
other
see.
guys can add on it. Yeah.
So do you see it more like a bubble right now, and maybe it will settle, and then the
No,
real
it's not
guys
bubble.
will.
Actually, it's not bubble, because this is a need also. This is a need also. Insta and Facebook are now like 20 years. So we really need something. Okay, people are exhausted with this old technology. Okay, obviously, even Facebook themselves thought of like, okay, this is the old technology now. So they have created this, the big thing. So I think it's not a bubble. It's not a bubble.
So I was recently watching this anime doesn't exist, or this sneaker doesn't exist. So this is AI generated art mainly.
Yeah.
So do you think this is going to challenge the original creators like you, or the artists? Is AI going to be a kind of a challenge for the actual original creators?
The answer comes from the history. Okay, so it happens all the time. Like when the Renaissance was there, like people were worried about like what will happen in the when the Impressionism will come. Okay, so when Van Gogh painted something, they said, oh, this is not a painting. Okay, then when Picasso came, okay, then he abstract artist has introduced to the abstractions. Okay, so everyone says, oh, this is not, this is crap. Okay, then slowly, so every time art will challenge the past. Okay, so the same thing happening in the NFT. So myself, I'm a fine artist. Okay, I'm a BFX fine artist. I'm from the painting side. Still, I feel this is a new medium, and people will take time to digest it. Okay, but end of the day, you have to believe like art is art. Okay, whether it's a painting, whether it's a photography, whether it is cinema, people will digest it soon.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ashish. Going to Rajat. Rajat, so there are two things going on, right, in the meta world. One is on chain and one is off chain. So it's not always blockchain, right? So the meta, what Mark Zuckerberg is talking about, is not on the chain. So where do you see the growth is going to happen? Is it all going to be blockchain in future, or is it going to be off chain also? Two parallel worlds. Maybe it's a multiverse, not a metaverse. So what is your take on it? And where do you see the
my take will always be it's going to be on the chain, because that's where the growth is, which is not on chain is always limited, and limit is by default, the word says it's limited, and it's not going to go, beyond a point. Whereas, if you see some of the transactions which are happening on chain, and in fact, Arjun can add there, the value of NFT, how it increases over the period of time is definitely which is the one of the key factor why we actually run it on chain, because we always work on how to create the value of the NFT, especially using the utility, using the ownership history, future value, and all those kind of different variables to that, and we club it all to actually increase the, and that's one of the reason we actually emphasize a lot on playable NFT, so by default, you're, as you play, more you play, the value of that also increases. And of course, the liquidity premium, how would you actually control the liquidity premium on the off chain? It can be a little, jargonish, but, and the, so in my, analogy, off chain had been around since 2003, 2002. There was a, elsewhere or something was there, then Second Life was there. We used to call it telepresence, not metaverses. Telepresence had been around. We did telepresence for one of the largest bank in India back in 2014. We did it for Microsoft. Though all those were the solutions what Meta, Facebook, is actually doing now, off the chain, like providing virtual offices, providing virtual places where you can hang out and you do things and stuff. But it's again, what you're transacting and what you're doing are actually largely on the virtual goods and stuff. But yeah, so I see again, having said that, because I cannot discard the fact that, off-chain will also remain and will continue to be there, because there are so many things where people don't want probably, the clutterness of the whole NFT, buying land, having your own this space and all, like Minecraft, right? Very simple example. You just go in there, do whatever, build your own world, you create Hogwarts, you create all those things, without getting, your mind getting clogged with NFT, or, this is my space and this is authenticated as my place or something like that. People are going there, having fun, claiming and working towards as like the, community over there, which is fine. And it has been around for quite some time. Roblox also had been around for quite some time and had been doing amazing, all of it, but if you're talking about growth per se, yes, my take will always be that, on the chain growth is definitely exponential. And when somebody is saying it's $1 trillion opportunity, when JP Morgan comes and invests in it, and when some of the big brands like Nike does the acquisition and all, I think we know where we are headed to. And it's absolutely not a bubble, it's definitely not a bubble. It's here to stay, it's here to grow, and it's going to be your day-to-day thing without even realizing what you're actually engaging with. It's just like your Instagram filters, where you don't get to know that it's actually image CV what you are dealing with. It's an image processing AI you're dealing with. It's just a filter for people. It's so natural. It's absolutely your metaverse experiences are going to be that natural for you. So definitely, it's not a bubble, and it will just continue to become more and more organic part of your day-to-day activity. And coming back to the challenge part, government regulation is the biggest challenge, which I personally see. I don't know where what regulation will come. They, of course, they did not ban and they tried to regulate it, but there are a lot of gray areas here and there. So I'll leave it up to Arjun and other people who are like playing hardcore role in the NFT space to talk about that. But yeah, I see that as a big huge challenge, personally at this moment.
At least the taxing is one way, making it semi-legal or whatever.
Yeah,
at least.
it's a good
But
sign.
anyway,
It's a good sign. Yeah.
yeah, but also the news what it created also created a lot more awareness about this space. If government was mum about it, nobody would know this space much.
Absolutely.
Also, sometimes negative publicity helps helps
Yeah,
on this area.
yeah, for sure.
So let's go to Arjun again. Arjun, so do you see like what is more value? Is it, for example, art, right? Right now, most of the people are wearing a mask and selling their art online, right? You really don't know the person in truth. They have some handles or whatever. So tomorrow AI might be competing. So where does the value come from in this NFT space? So is it about like what you did with Stanley? Is it the people behind it, or is it the art itself, or what actually makes it good NFT? How do we build that? How do we pursue that value behind a non-fungible token?
Right. I mean, in my humble opinion, the same value that we put on Monet or Picasso, the reason we value it is that we see it and we want to own a piece of human expression, and the purer it is, the more valuable it is. And I mean, I'm off topic, of course, but I was talking to this teen from Boston, and he had been creating and selling assets inside of Decentraland. And I asked him, so what do you do with the money? And he said, I'm going to buy a sports car. I was like, you hypocrite, man. you're selling, Metaverse stuff, and you're thinking of buying a sports car. He was like, no. The sports car is for Somnium Space. All my class girls go to Somnium Space. And that's what I want to impress them with. I want to buy a Meta sports car. So the economy is really there. And he is actually a creator himself, but he wants to buy a sports car that somebody else created. And the value that we put on things, I mean, I'm sure AI could churn a whole bunch of stuff and just fill up dams with NFTs on any particular given topic, and just pull in the right attributes that it thinks will make a hit NFT. And that has actually happened. I mean, I'm sure you've read the script that AI was able to generate for a Bond movie based on the last a whole bunch of Bond movies scripts fed into it. And it's always going to be what we value, and I guess we've always valued human expression. If AI can be a catalyst to bring that out even better, I think that would definitely add to the value.
Okay, thank you. Now going to Rajiv back again. So Rajiv, you have been mainly holding the IP. You're already playing in the off-chain market with the IP. And here in the blockchain or in the on-chain, it is basically giving away the IP, right? So when you make an NFT, you're parting away with your IP. So how does it feel? Because you've been owning the IP, licensing it for a long time, and created a lot of vertical things. But here you might need to part with it. So how difficult or easy is it going to be?
I think technically you're not parting with your IP, because, example, whenever you're creating these tokens or anything, you decide what you want to do, and you are giving out a limited thing and you're setting a price. So in terms of, I only see it like it's an additional revenue stream to go with, addition to the other incomes that we are actually adding to. So coming to how do we monetize and how do we lose this? I don't think we are losing the IP that we own. So it's an additional revenue. Example, Beam in the world of party night or any other place, it is not, we are not, giving away all the rights or anything. So we still own the rights and stuff. So which makes sense for us to explore this category. And plus on top of that, this is something very exciting, and like everyone said, we need to figure out how do we actually how do we use this? How there's so much technology available, but how do you make it? How do you use that to build some fantastic properties? Is what we have to figure out. And yeah, any other question?
Yeah, I have a question. Basically, normally, right now, your IP is in a controlled environment, right? So you decide where beam is appearing, on what product, or where it is coming. But when we go here, you're parting at least the conditions of where it can.
I get what you're saying. Yes, absolutely. I think yes. Once you're giving your avatar away to someone, it definitely can. You definitely the guy what he does with that avatar. I mean, he can do some nasty things, record it and post it online. Yes, we have seen that cases when we had our masquerade being misused by, some people who are wearing that. So these kind of things will happen. Obviously, we just have to be a little careful and work with kind of watch these things, content on the digital media, and if anything objectionable comes in, you remove it. But yes, I think that is basically when somebody is wearing that avatar, it is obvious that it can be misused.
So do you think you need to create a different kind of an organization for getting into this metaverse kind of a thing, or the regular, is it also possible to work like how we work with the rest of the regulated markets?
I think this is something which is really brand new in terms of the industry, or at least in terms of the lingo that is out there, and it's still very, very new, and many people, even the technology is actually fairly simple, but we really don't know how to put it out there and how to utilize it. And like Ashish said, how do you get these users? That's pretty tricky, because example, like when party night was being planned, I was asking Rajat, how do I go and see it? How do I go and see it? How do I do this? So I wasn't aware. So I think it's very interesting, like so much technology and we don't know how to use it. And if we know how to use it, we don't know how to monetize. Hence, you need 3-4 smart people to sit together, figure out a plan, and most important, end of the day, how much ever technology you have created, if we don't know how to monetize, it's all going down the drain.
So VK, I'm going to step in here with you, if with your permission. So, Arjun can actually, my name's Anil Vanwari Arjun, but, Arjun, I'm sure has certain legal provisos. He's sold an NFT of Mr. Bachchan for 350,000, where it can be used, how it can be used. So those can be built in. So in the agreement with the buyer. Am I right, Arjun?
Yeah. Exactly, Anil. That's right. So the NFT artist decides what they want to give away with the NFT. And that's baked into the whole provenance chain. And if you're the current owner of a particular Bored Ape NFT, you have the right to license it out to any brand you see fit, and the income you generate is your own. And that's what's being invented now. It's a new thing. You're right.
Yeah. So that will protect a person like Rajiv and his characters. And you can build a Chota Bheem as an anime character. Somebody might want it, and somebody might want to pay $1 million for that. And that character can only go in the metaverse, not in the traditional television and traditional OTT universe. Am I right with that, Arjun?
Yeah, you're totally right. So what is entitled to the NFT collector is clearly baked into the NFT contract itself. And if they use it outside, well, although enforcing that is a whole different issue. I
think in this world of metaverse, I think they will enforce it themselves, because I'll tell you what, when my son bought a cat for $4,000, the digital cat, which became very famous, the NFT, he was very clear where he was playing, where he was using it. And then he sold it at a profit later.
Nice.
There were some limited editions which were there. I mean, he's in the NFT space, so
nice.
He wouldn't misuse it, because there is that sense of self-respect when you're picking it up. You own that, it's not something you misuse. Like the teen who bought it would not use the car in the wrong way when he's showing off to his girls online.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful way to use it, I guess. But there was something that happened recently. So I'm not sure if I can voice this publicly, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I want the space to be more exposed. So we launched the NFTs of the a couple who got wedded in Metaverse. And so their avatars themselves were actually from a provider who creates avatars for people in the metaverses. You can use that. Yeah. And they contacted us to take those NFTs off the shelf because their rights did not allow these guys to sell it. So they just settled, the couple settled to just selling their wedding invitations, and that's their own. So and it went for a really good profit. I didn't know it would go that well. I mean, I'm happy that it did for them. So there are still restrictions, and maybe like how in the early stages of music and video file sharing, because it was digital, it was shared like crazy, and peer-to-peer programs like Napster and LimeWire and all these guys really enabled that even further.
Those will be fixed. Those will be fixed. Those won't be the original because there can only be one original NFT. So, unless you're making multiple copies of it and you're selling it at a lower price then.
Yeah, you're right. So there's going to be a wave of correction and checks and balances that come in, and the market becomes more mature. So just like how iTunes came in, and it was still digital, but somebody managed to create an ecosystem where the creators made money off of their work, and it wasn't just distributed away for free. And so just like Green Gold Productions will release avatars or release utility NFTs from their content and their IP. And there will come a time when there are built-in restrictions or a built-in, I don't want to say restrictions, but built-in flow of things that will determine that they are used in the proper way that Green Gold Productions meant them to be used. And until then, we just have to deal with the whole process.
The uncertainty.
Exactly.
Yeah. So VK, I had another, you're on Cosmos, there's Polygon. What kind of way? What do we follow? I mean, which of the chains do we go on? We have L1, L2 chains. Where do we go?
There are even multi-chains coming up now, right? So it's more like currency exchange, like you have dollars and everything. So end of the day, when we are talking about one business, maybe if I'm running a business in India, I'm dealing with Indian rupees. Right. So my whole balance sheet will be on Indian rupees. So we have to stick to one chain because of the transactions and other stuff. But always there is portability between other chains, right? We can move from one chain to another.
Sure. So cross-chain transactions are happening now.
Yeah, but what I've seen recently with all the people I'm talking with is the chains are trying to give grants so that we transact only on their chain and they lock us on that chain, so that they get the transaction money. So the transaction money is a lot more than the actual grant what they're giving. But the grant itself looks quite handsome for now, because initially when we are creating art, because you see, art is only valued over a period of time, right? When we first create the art, it's not, people think it's just art. But only when it is matured, it really becomes a big thing. Like, for example, Chota Bheem is such a big property now. When it initially came into now, it's a big property. It's one of the, I think Bheem is the richest cartoon, I would say. And like that, so over a period of time, the art really becomes more and more valuable, right? So at that point of time, if you're locked into one ecosystem, that's when we also give all the transaction fee to them. So that's where these chains are playing. But I think cross-chain transactions will be very much possible.
I think my son's dealing on cross-chains now.
I think Metaverse is only the starting point. I think there'll be multiverse coming very shortly. So it's going to be a multiverse game next. I mean, maybe Web 3.4, 4.1 would be a multiverse, I would say, in my own opinion, because I always try to look a little far ahead into the future. So right now, metaverse at least is happening thanks to the pandemic, I would say. And it was great listening to all of you, in fact, and also hoping that we'll see Bada Beam very shortly.
VK, I also want to ask one question, VK. Now with the Ukraine-Russian crisis, we've seen crypto dipping totally down and NFT values going down. So and even the stock markets have gone down. Everything's gone down. So what does Arjun and what does Rajat have to say about this, and what do you have to say, VK, as well as Aashish? So I think we're in the dumps for about what, 6 months, 3 months, or is it going to revive soon?
So I'll go first. Actually, when I invest into into any crypto or anything, I don't anymore think about fiat currencies. I only look at the value in the crypto and what is it in crypto, right? And what is the capability of that particular crypto going to do? So it's a very constantly, even when I move to different countries, if my mindset is always thinking about Indian rupees, when I buy a coffee, it is $500 or $1,000. You won't be able to drink a coffee. But when you think in euros, it's just €5 or €10.
Right.
So
Yeah,
your mindset is completely going to be that way. So when you get into this world of crypto, your fiat currency is a separate world altogether. So it doesn't dip. Maybe it's a good opportunity for most of us who are already in crypto to buy more, I would say, because a lot of the prices have come down. It's the Giffin's paradox, right? Which plays into work. I reduce my real world expenditure and I buy more crypto now, I would say. And the Ukraine example is very much a very good example, because the world borders might change, right? Anytime. And with the current kind of things happening, even Afghanistan or anything, no fiat currency is guaranteed that way, if you can say. So one way I would say maybe crypto might be the future, which is much more safer than any of the fiat what we are doing, because suddenly Modi came and said demonetize, and we didn't have any rupee there, and it's suddenly more digital right now. So things like that can happen with governments and all. So this is more of a decentralized environment, and it is people. It's building a different world, I believe personally. But again, I would leave more.
Yeah. So Rajat and Arjun and Aashish, if they have any views on this, and especially the value of NFTs and all of that.
Right. And so, like VK Gupta said, paper hands, I think, is the reason for the drop in prices. And if anything, a conflict like this only boldens the cause for decentralized currency to be present. And I think the last century was dollar, and this century is already shaping up to include bigger players, noticeable players like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I'm very sure, in the future, I would bet on it, and I have a really strong thesis as to why I would convince any of my friends to bet on it as well. This is definitely reflective in the NFT community, and we can see that the floor prices have fallen. But what I've been trying to notice is that the floor prices are the same, like VK Gupta said. It's the same in Ethereum as it was yesterday or the last week. It's the same in decentralized currency formats of pricing. So it's still the same. It's just paper hands.
Yeah, the stock market crashed 20% and Bitcoin crashed only 10%.
Right.
Despite the invasion. So that's another indicator. Probably there's more confidence in the crypto side.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyone else has a point of view on this?
So what happens, Anil, obviously we all are aware, like anything happens outside the country, or whether China puts a ban on mining and all, or it affects. Okay, it affects like any of the currency. So it's a regular currency, and this is an opportunity where if you are not entered, you can enter right now, okay, and grab the opportunity. But obviously this is the currency is one of the thing. I really personally like the idea of decentralizing the entire ecosystem. Okay, and obviously this smart contract, which we have not discussed in the today's discussion, because it will take another, or might be people will go out of this who don't understand that. Okay, so like smart contract is also a solution for lots of big problems. Okay, whether it's a political problem or it's a corruption or anything. Okay, so this smart contract, I'm here because of the smart contract, which allows me to actually understand, okay, this product is genuine. Okay, so on our platform Fantico, okay, which is by Vistas, so we actually sold the Amitabh Bachchan's Shansha's jacket. Okay, so now Shansha jacket, okay, now no one has thought 10 years or 20 years ago like people will buy Shansha jacket, but now because of all these opportunities, okay, I can buy and I can actually make sure like, okay, this is the genuine one, and obviously it's signed by Tinu Anand. So obviously again and again, whenever it gets sold, it will come back to the creator. Okay, so these are the like lots of opportunities, and all due to all this property attached to NFT, I will stay here for more time.
Yeah, Rajat.
Yeah, so I totally go by what VK said. Like it's I would say, in a very, very nutshell, it's a crypto movement endorsed and sponsored by Putin. You know, because it's now the entry looks easy, and I absolutely follow the same thesis that I don't try and convert my crypto into the real world money. It's my crypto is my crypto, and I think that's still the same. The sentiments are still strong for crypto, and you can see the surge happening back, on track faster than the stock market will. So yeah.
So yeah, good. Thanks for that. Thanks for being bullish. I don't know, Rajiv is investing in cryptos or not. Does he have a point of view, or does he follow you? Does Rajiv have a point of view, or does he follow you?
No, I think he's independent on
Rajiv
investment.
invested on Rajat, right? So Rajiv already invested. He already owns everything.
Yeah. Rajiv, you're going to say anything, or you?
I mean, see the crypto part. I mean, I've seen this documentary on crypto on Netflix before understanding, and then after that, I thought, okay, because that was a sham, because there was this event that happened where I don't know what was the name of the Bitcoin, but it was turned out to be totally fake. It disappeared. Yeah. So honestly, I don't know like which will stay and all. So far, I've not invested in crypto because one, it is too early in the game, I feel. But yes, of course, there are definitely.
You're too late in the game, by the way. You're not too early in the game. You're too late now in the crypto.
Yeah, I agree. We
didn't discuss that part.
So people are saying it's going to be 100K mark at some stage. So you still have some leg room.
Yeah, I mean, see, I personally, I'm never be running behind money in the sense, like I'm not going to invest somewhere because I want to make tons of money easy. Because whenever I tried that, I miserably failed. Okay. So I realized that, easy money is not written in my fate. So I better accept that and work hard to earn my money. So
and let Rajat and let Arjun and let Aashish and let the others work on the innovative paths.
I think yes, in crypto sense, I mean, there's nobody is 100% able to say for sure this is a safe thing, it will not go anywhere. No one is able to say that. And why? I mean, I definitely don't want to take off. I mean, right now in India, invest in real estate. That's better than crypto.
No, don't ever invest in. It's the worst investment you can ever do. It's better to rent properties. You speak to my son and he'll tell you that's the worst investment you can ever make. You get better returns on even the stock market rather than, correct me if I'm wrong, Arjun. Yeah. We are going all over.
Anil, I think that's for you and me who make limited money and we don't know how to create money, right? So we just earn and we invest. But Rajiv knows how to create money. So for him, I don't think it is applicable.
Yeah,
he can do.
So all the best invest in real estate because you can make more money off different alternate investments rather than investing in real estate. Real estate will take a long time.
Compared to crypto, I would rather invest in this thing. That's what I meant. Not like that's what I would do. But I'd like to be. I'm skeptical still. Like this whole COVID thing. I really don't know it really existed or the hell it is. But now everyone has gone through the COVID, I'm assuming. So I'm still like wondering, like, is this actually really happened and the world is behaving like this? I mean, on one side, you see America, which has got no mask, anything. You see Super Bowl attended by 100,000 people, paid $8,000 a ticket. On one side, you see that. On one side, you see, Australia not allowing any tourists inside that. And now it opened up after 2 years. So it's actually a little bit, and US was open all the time. So there are two kinds of thinking on COVID. So same way on Bitcoin also it's the same. It's like we really don't know.
No, you speak to the scientists, they do know. Omicron BA2, which is a predominant spreading virus right now. There was BA1, which was not that lethal. Now, as of yesterday, they said BA2 is not that lethal. Until 3-4 days ago, they were saying Omicron BA2 has the properties of a Delta and the virality 1.5 times of Omicron BA1. Read the scientific journals. It was definitely there. The coronavirus was definitely there.
I agree, because Bill Gates recently announced that the upgraded version of the virus is going to be coming in the next 1 year. So because they are already preparing the vaccine, so they'll release the virus shortly. Like Windows updates, we'll be getting these updates.
Please don't. You'll be sued for libel, VK.
I hope it crashes.
You could be sued for libel that Bill Gates is upgrading the next virus. Yeah, anyway, it's been a great session. Thank you for your time.